I'm Ármin. I'm a software developer here at Alice. I'm working on AODocs, an enterprise document management system which is owned by the Altair Now company, which is, we are a subcontractor of since 8 years. It's awesome. And yeah, this is my topic, filling PDF forms. And you may wonder what's this about, you know, like you may wonder what does this have to do with cloud. Spoiler, nothing. And generally you may wonder how come I come up with this. And I don't actually have an answer for this question, or not yet. And yeah, so this topic, I originally wanted to write a blog post about this. And that would have been kind of more useful, because if you encounter the same problems as I do, you search on the internet and you find my solutions and everything. But I never got around to writing it. And when our head of engineering, Fruji, who is sitting right there, asked me what kind of topic I would have for an application development meetup, I immediately said this one. Filling PDF forms. It's awesome. Yes, I will do that. And she didn't say you're stupid. And she trusts me. I can't blame her. Yeah, so I was actually surprised I said this topic. I mean, my enthusiasm. And in reality, it was more like, why was I so stupid? Why did I think this stupid shit? And actually, yeah, as I'm writing on the slides, it's a task that was kind of challenging. It's an obscure thing. And it gave me pleasure when I solved it, and I felt like a hero. I felt so much a hero that I went around going to my teammates, hey guys, I managed to fill the PDF forms, and they were like, good for you. And I wanted to talk about it ever since, and now I have a captive audience. Obviously, this is important to me for some reason, and I asked myself why. As I was writing this presentation, not this presentation, but the part about the PDFs, I was wondering why. Why the fuck is it so interesting? And Gabor Farkas is also sitting there, who is our architect. I learned this from him, actually, sort of. He has this way of asking us why in a totally non-threatening way. Usually it's kind of offensive to ask why, but he does it so well. Anyway, so I kept asking why. And this presentation is mostly about this, and also PDF forms, because I want to talk about that. Anyway, to get to this answer, let's first look at the use case, right? So it's for a non-profit organization which helps people fill out forms and apply for aid and grant and stuff like that. And governments love PDF forms. And this is awesome, actually. Like, they create these PDF forms, you don't have to print it out, you fill it out, you send it by email. This is wonderful. But not so much for the non-profit, obviously, or lawyers, or anybody who is dealing with a lot of these forms. I mean, just imagine a guy who is sitting there. The computer has all the data about all their clients, you know, name, date of birth, and he has the form to fill out, and what he's doing is alt-tabbing between the windows and filling it out. So the question comes up that, can the computer do it for me? This is actually how the form looks like, and you can see that we are applying a templating solution here. This is what the client asked. We could have gone a different route, which may have been more elegant, but this is what they wanted because it's simple, and they wanted a manual override in the system anyhow. So I like this adage, which I put up here. Engineers build machines to make people's lives easier. I'm not actually a real engineer, I'm just a software engineer, but it still resonates with me. And I guess I totally could imagine the guy who is sitting and having to fill hundreds of these forms. And so I was, yeah, let's do this. It was, important to me. And so, to the engineer mobile, and let's look at PDF. So PDF is a lovely thing, right? Portable data format, many people don't know what the abbreviation is. Portable, because wherever you write it, no matter what machine you put it together, you open it anywhere else, on any other device, and you get the same thing. And this is, Gabor is an architect, so he's saying, you have 90% the same thing, which is awesome. It was first used in the publishing industry, where it was, a must to look like that. And it spread because we like it, don't we? It's much better than a docx or a text file or whatever. It's just not portable. Document, because it's about documents, obviously, like a book or a contract or something. And format, because, well, it's a format. And it's an open standard, which is nice. I can download the standard. There is an oversight on how the standard evolves, like people are actually have input on this. And so kind of open standard. We can write applications that manipulate PDF files or display PDF files or whatever, and we can do that. But PDF has its drawbacks, obviously, like the format itself, and let me start from the bottom here on the slide. It's not really open because it's the property of Adobe. It was made by Adobe. Adobe maintains a tight control on it all the time because, they want us to use it all the time. They want us to open it, but they don't really want us to write it because they want us to buy Adobe Acrobat. And this actually meshes nicely with the actual use case. This is a write once, read everywhere kind of document. This is not really true. We can modify PDFs, but you get the idea. And the format itself has its roots in the 70s, the PostScript language, which is actually a Turing-complete language, which is just blows my mind, but it's interesting. PDF is a dumbed-down version of that, but it somehow, I don't really know how to put my finger on it, but it's difficult to wrap my head around it when I encounter it. Like, what are these things and why? And it's just not the current object model that we use, even though we will see that it's quite similar to actually modern formats. So PDF manipulation tools. I said that we can manipulate PDFs in our lives programmatically. There are two main competing products. There are many others, but these are, I think, the most important. iText is a company. It's brilliant, actually. Like, these guys got together and, let's make a PDF manipulation library that is awesome. We will sell it to big enterprises. They have a really enterprisey model of selling things, like you have to apply for a quote and how many users do you have, and you have discounts and whatever. It's complicated, but they also have an open source option, an AGPL option, which is if you don't know, AGPL is a viral license. If you use the AGPL stuff, you have to open source your own program yourself. But on the bright side, it's very programmer friendly and it's action oriented. Like, I want to fill these form fields with values, and you just put in there the IDs or whatever and the values, and it does the magic. The other option is PDFBox. It has an Apache license. It's completely open source, no corporate backing whatsoever. Every pull request is from guys like me. I don't have a pull request on that. I'm not so smart. And it has a different model. It actually tries to mimic the PDF object model down to the very lowest level. And I read somewhere that it has an 80-20, what's his name? You know, Pareto ratio, that 80-20, it gives you tools, easily usable tools for 80% of your use cases, and the rest of your use cases, the 20%, which is mine, spoiler, it gives you very low-level options to Lego it together by yourself. And yeah, so let me show you again the use case. This is our form. Hey. And I obviously chose PDFBox. I mean, who wants to deal with getting quotes and whatever? And you know, I wasn't very rich for much of my life, so usually my first thing, oh, it's free. Okay, let's choose that. And yeah, it's free. So, and it's kind of nice, you know, a nice library. I don't know why I can't put my finger on it. So this is, and I thought to myself, okay, it must have a getForm method. The getForm method must have a set of form fields. We iterate through it, fill it with values. How difficult can it be? And it actually comes with a code example, which I copied here almost verbatim. You open this thing. I don't know, can you? No, you can't. So I can put, you open this thing and you do exactly that, get the form, iterate through all the elements. The only nice thing that you may notice here, which is kind of weird, that it's actually a tree structure. These fields are arranged in a tree structure and it can be any depth. You know, they model checkboxes with this, which is cool, but this is what I meant, but the 70s mentality in the PDF format, that oh, it can go together, go all the way down. You can nest form fields. This is how they do field sets and whatever. So it's actually useful, but it's so, I don't know, you know, Knut, you know, and these kind of guys. Oh yeah, so I did that, and that is cool, and it worked, and the product owner was happy, but I had a nagging feeling back in my mind, and I told the product owner that, hey, actually there are many kinds of PDFs. Really, there are, the standard is now, I don't know, 30 years old, so a lot of things happen there, and could we get more example files, sample files to fill? And I got this answer that, hey, I got you another one. This one can apparently be opened only in Internet Explorer. And I was like, what? And I opened it, and I opened it in my trusty PDF viewer, and this is the message I got. I let you a couple of moments to sink in, you know. It really couldn't be opened in anything else, just Acrobat Reader and Internet Explorer. Okay, I said. This is the form in question, and I opened the date picker here on the screenshot. You can see it's interactive. There is JavaScript in this shit. And so I looked it up, and it turns out that this is called XFA form. XML form architecture. You gotta love an abbreviation that's got another abbreviation inside. It's such a 90s thing, you know, that, hey, I know what, let's put XML in it. Yeah, good idea, man. And XSLT, oh, that's awesome. And JavaScript. The JavaScript part we still have, so let's put JavaScript in it, it still works. Every time you go to a product meeting, just say, and let's make it scriptable by enabling JavaScript interpretation, it will work. Anyway, so I make fun of it, but it's actually quite brilliant, of course. This thing was designed by JetForm, which was a Canadian company, now out of business, thank God. It was a Canadian software house that was working for the Canadian government, mostly creating forms. I still have to make fun of them, like, hey guys, let's make a company that makes forms. I can't imagine. But anyway, so yeah, you can see the properties of it on the slides. Yeah, the interesting thing is that it's actually really elegant. Like it separates the actual structure, the presentation, and the content of the form. It was really cool in the XML world, and they did it like it, and yeah, that's how I did it. It's nice. But be that as it may, I still had to fill these forms, and so I'm a software developer. What does a software developer do? I searched Google, and Google said, wait for it, use iText. And I told Google that, hey Google, okay, but I really want to use PDFBox. And Google said, I'm sorry, Ármin, it doesn't work with PDFBox. And I practically tried again that, yeah, but maybe, is there a chance? And Google sort of said that, yeah, well, here's the code example, and I copy-pasted the code example, and it didn't work at all, and it produced a corrupted PDF, which is a thing. So yeah, what did I do? I'm an engineer. I started hacking around, and I noticed that the actual XFA document, the XML in it can be read. This works. Yeah, let me spend a couple of moments on this document catalog thing. PDF is a tree structure, but not really. PDF is a tree structure. The root is the document catalog. In that you have, it's a dictionary type. In that you have many entries, like pages. And it contains all the pages in a list. Fonts, which lists all the fonts, but it's not really a tree structure, it's a graph, because you can reference the other entities around, because you can reference the font, so you don't have to embed the same font multiple times. Very elegant, actually. So I get the document catalog, I choose the acroform object, the simple PDF form which we discussed before, it's called acroform, acrobat form, very nice, which has get XFA method, an XFA entry, and from that I can get the document, which is an XML DOM. Awesome, I can read it. This is finally something I can work with. Good old Java, util, DOM, whatever the package is. I hate it. It's over-engineered shit, but at least it was home territory, you know, my shit. But there was no, but yeah, so I changed the document in the model, and yeah, one of the use cases was finding these template entries, so half of the work was done, but how will I replace it? So there was no set document method, I can't plug it in. There is a set XFA object something, but it didn't work at all. And so I opened the debugger, and yeah, I have to look it as well. This is the actual output of the debugger here, which I was told that I shouldn't be pointing at this thing because it won't be on the recording. So you can see here that the PDFBox model, it mimics absolutely the PDF internal model. This is actually PDF stuff everywhere. All this costs everything stuff. You can see that, what do I do? Oh yeah, I open the document catalog, and it has all these entries. I choose the acroform one, the acroform entry, which in turn is a dictionary, and there is the XFA at the bottom of the table, which you can see that it's an array. Okay, let's work with that, I say. And this is how the XML form looks in XFA form, sorry, looks in a PDF. Again, I must look at the table. It's actually an ordered list of elements, a key and a value after that. Why they don't use a dictionary, I have no idea. I don't want to know. I'm sure there was a reason for this decision. I don't really envy the guy who had this thing. So yeah, it's an ordered list. an array, cos array, that's what it's called, yeah. Cos array, it has entries, one a name, followed by a stream. The stream contains the actual by stream, which actually is an XML fragment. All these, which we can see here, contain XML fragments, which, if you put together, it gives out the XML document. Pretty awesome. And this one is the fragment called dataset, and the dataset contains the data. And you can see it's beautiful how it's structured. It actually has a name that is a person, that it's typed. Isn't it nice? And you can, I suppose, it's not a built-in type, but as the author worked with a form designer, because these are made by designers in clicking around. So he actually could name the type like this person. So, okay, I took this. I took out one of the things, one of the cost streams. I created a new cost stream. Oh yeah, cost, I wanted to mention this, I don't know if it was on the slides. Cost is actually short for Carousel Object System, and Carousel was the code name of Adobe Acrobat. It's fun. Another word on the cost, it's actually much like JSON if you think about it. Everything is an object. Objects can be nested. There are some primitive types which behave sort of like objects, like this name, which is a label. It doesn't have a JSON equivalent, but we use strings for that. But how much more elegant this is, because a compiler can compile this name and shorten it to make the file size smaller. A lot of these elegant design decisions. And yeah, it has streams, which we saw. Strings. The stream is better because it can be referenced elsewhere in the document, which makes it possible again for compression. PDF was really small for its time when it came out. So anyway, I created a new cost stream. I plugged it where the old used to be. I saved the thing, and I got this. When I tried to open it in Adobe Reader. I must read it out loud. This document enabled extended features in Adobe Acrobat Reader. The document has been changed since it was created, and use of extended features is no longer available. Please contact the author, blah, blah, blah. And this is basically Adobe's way of saying fuck you, and also that we broke a signature. Because these extended features, you take in Acrobat a PDF document, and you can enable certain functions like annotations and form filling and stuff. And you say that this is allowed for everybody. That if you change these things, like add the note, whatever, that doesn't mean the document has changed, which has value, you know. It's again such a smart thing and such an obnoxious thing to do. You can give out forms, you get back the results, and you can actually be sure that this is exactly the same form that you sent out. Like it doesn't contain malware or something. Pretty nice. And the way it achieves this is, of course, the digital signature it has. And when I naively overwrote part of the thing and said that save the whole thing, then PDFBox actually created a new document for the entire thing, a new PDF instance. Because that's how PDFBox works, because it's cheap, because it just has to take the object model it keeps in the memory and dump it out in a file, and it's done. But obviously the signature won't be valid for that document. So there is a solution for it. Oh yeah, it's on the slides. The newest version of PDFBox supports incremental saving, and there's a Jira ticket about it on PDFBox's Jira. I believe it's PDFBox 41, so it's pretty old. It's one of the first features they wanted, and nobody ever got around it. And there's a funny comment that after 10 years, we finally did it, boys. And yes, so it's actually pretty primitive in the current stable version. You actually have to mark your changes as changes. Like you have to, this is not so interesting. Here I just iterate over up until I reach the root and mark everything as changed. The newest version does this automatically, so pretty cool, but it's not stable, so we didn't use that. But yeah, so this was my experience, this was my adventure. And so yeah, feeling like a superhero. I put up a quote on the slide. I encourage you to read it and digest it because it's wonderful. It's wonderful sentences. It's by George Polya, a Hungarian-born American mathematician, from his book How to Solve It, which is a book for math teachers and students as well. But to paraphrase, the idea is that even if your challenge is small, even if your discovery is small, you will feel the euphoria, the same euphoria that a big scientist experiences when he discovers something. And it's probably something like this that I felt, that made this so important to me. Because this entire thing which I did, it was hacking. It was not software development. It was really, it was hacking in the old sense, like a guy with his machine, and I go, I didn't read the PDF standard, of course, like this. I didn't convene meetings, we didn't have policies for that, we didn't have anything. I was just a single guy, and I was reverse engineering this thing, and I enjoyed the discovery. So, yeah, and this made me think that this is really about the difference between craftsmanship model and the factory model, the difference between being a programmer and being a software developer. And the difference is, let me start from the back. So a programmer, yeah, it's a guy who sits down and does this thing, and he's inventive and works alone and stuff. And the software development gives these processes, which we all know, not necessarily, most of us probably know. Processes and, again, meetings and stuff. And yeah, this is the difference between the craftsmanship model and the factory model. And the factory model sort of gets a bad name, you know, like it sounds like it's something smaller, something crappier. But it's probably because the people who are thinking about these things are hackers, are following the craftsmanship model. The craftsmanship model encourages individualism and the sheer inventiveness which comes from a person, while a factory model, and again, it's very hard to speak about, very difficult for me to speak about this in terms that are not disparaging, you know. The factory model says that, hey, you are a worker, you have this box to work in. If you fail, and you will fail, then there are policies to catch you. There is a lifeline. If you have a bad day, then you can continue with roughly the same efficiency because something catches you. And this is awesome. I'm generally pretty proud to be a software developer, that I developed so much in the past 10 years that I really was a hacker earlier. Like, I lived for this, and I bristled every time that there was a policy meeting, whatever. Yeah, I wanted, and yeah, it's still in me, they're laughing. It's obviously still in me, but now I am the guy who is saying, yeah, let's have a policy, because I can screw up. So the factory model really has a lot of things going for it, and actually I sort of think that this will be a bit banal, but the both have to be present at the workspace. Like both have its values, and actually we are different people. I lean toward the craftsmanship model. I am better at it. It comes to me more naturally, and I have teammates that are better at the factory model. I know that they are, and I am fucking grateful that they are there, because when I have a bad day and my productivity drops to 0, then they are still there, and otherwise they are doing the jobs that I don't like. And this has, no really, and this has immense value. So basically, yeah, to recap the whole thing, and to answer the question I posed at the start, why do I like this stupid PDF form so much? That it was about solving an obscure problem. I made someone's life just a little bit easier, not much probably, but it counts, it resonates in me, and I solved it in a way that was satisfying to me due to the joy of discovery that is present here. And yes, so as I was writing this presentation, I really wondered what you will take home from it. Like, you know, I was doing this PDF stuff, and what's the takeaway, you know, core stuff, you know? And this is what I'd like you to take home, that the craftsmanship model brings some people joy, not every people, some people, and joy has joy has value at work. It creates value, and think about that. I will too. It's new to me. I did all this morning. So that's all I got.